Hello, we're at the KunstRAI now with René Brouwstens, who has represents a gallery and has a lot of very interesting paintings, some well-known names and some lesser-known names. René, how do you find the fair this year?
Well, I think this is the fifth time that we participate in this fair, and every time it's actually quite successful. It's very well organized. Every year we have more visitors, and we actually always sell quite well. And it's good to have representation here and to present the work that we try to show.
And what gallery are you with?
This is Gallery Franz Jacobs. He's my partner, and actually we have a kind of a special collaboration. I'm more involved in contemporary art, and Franz Jacobs is more responsible for what we call classic modern 20th century art. And that's also what we show here. We have, let's say, more classic names like Marc Chagall or Van Dongen or Picasso. And on the other hand, we have what we say new artists like Boris Saborov or Dutch artists like Harry Wolfkamp, Dolfer Linde. And so it's a combination of contemporary art and classic 20th century art.
Now, I notice you do, as you said, have some classics. You even have a Gustav Klimt, quite nice over here. Who of the contemporary artists would you say, are up and coming or rising artists that we'll notice?
I think the artist that really already has established quite a reputation is the Russian artist here on the left corner. It's Boris Saborov. He has had already important exhibition at the Pushkin Museum in St. Petersburg, but also in Paris and France. He's very well known. So I see that as an artist that will have, let's say, a serious chance of becoming an established artist. To say something about our other artists that they will be established at a certain point in time is extremely difficult to say, because if you take a look at, let's say, the Dutch artists after the Second World War that became international, the names are not even on one hand, because we have Karl Appel, then we have de Kooning, but he became American, and then there's a long time nothing. And but maybe Lucebert, and you have Cobra, and but they're not even really very international. So to say something of their long-term international name is very difficult to say. On the other hand, I think we do represent very good artists. They're very serious, and they're very professional, and of course we like the work that they make, because it's a combination of taste and quality.
What kind of people come to this show?
I think the fair is visited by, you could say, different groups. Of course, you have many artists who visit this fair, because it's actually the only contemporary art fair that we have in Holland. Then there is a lot of people that are interested in art, but especially from around Amsterdam, because Amsterdam does have a certain art scene, and they all like to, let's say, visit this fair to see what's going on. And for the rest, you have the people who are interested in art, and especially contemporary art. And so you will have, because it's contemporary, you will have more young people. Older people are more interested in more classic fairs like the TEVAF in Maastricht or the PAN, which is later this year. And so, yeah, quite interesting audience, I think.
Well, the best of luck to you in the show, René.
Okay.
Thanks for talking with us.
Well, no problem.
Well, I'm very interested in art, and I'm an artist myself, so it's good to go around and see what's happening everywhere. It's a very easy way, without too much traveling, to see all kinds of different artists from all corners of the country.
And what do you think of the collection this year?
I think it's a wonderful collection, really. It's, I think, in my opinion, it's getting better every year. I believe there's many things I really like to see.
Well, who are some of your favorite Dutch painters?
There's I have Peter Afemius is a very good painter, and I haven't seen the glass yet. There's glass objects. I don't know the names yet of those artists, but I'm very interested in that kind of art.
And besides collecting ideas, as you look around, do you like the presentation, let's say, for example, of Franz Jacobs' classic things, the Chagalls and Luciberts and Apples? Are you interested in those old classic things?
Well, to be honest, I've seen that so often. I'm over 40 years now, and I've seen this kind of art for 20 years, and it's something you come to a certain kind of understanding with that kind of art. But I want more. I want new things. I'm really far more interested in the art of today and of the future, really.
And you think they represent the art of Holland pretty much well here?
Yeah, there is a very good quality of a collection. Many different things. I find there's at the moment a bigger interest in landscapes, not the traditional ones, but you can see through the colors and also the way the abstract paintings are formed, that the landscaping is in a way coming back.
And yourself, you say you're an artist. What kind of art do you make?
I'm a painter, and I paint with acrylics on paper or linen, and I am very interested in moving little things. I'm trying to, it's abstract, and I make small little forms. They tumble around, and I like the movement in the paint. I'm trying to make the paint, how you can say, as if you can grab it, something three-dimensional, with a lot of space in it too.
There was a time when big art shows were actually always presented with some kind of controversy or controversial thing. Do you see any controversy here?
Not really, no. We had this conversation this morning, and we came to the conclusion that art is becoming more commercial, so the artists are sort of moving towards the public. They are trying to please, which was not always like that. That's what I don't like very much. That's one of the things you can understand. It's very understandable because we all have to make a living. But on the other hand, you miss something. You miss the fire. The fire.
Well, there was always an idea, I think, that an artist was one of those people in society that could go out to the edge of chaos and come back and describe it for us.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's true anymore.
Well, I believe they're staying on the safe side. They are.
What do you think of the nude portraits of the older women over there? Did you see that?
I haven't seen them yet, to be honest. No, we've not been. I think we are sort of halfway at the moment. Which gallery is that?
That's down one of these rows, but they're all women in their 60s and 70s, and portraits of them.
Oh yes, I think so. Oh, Aaron Olaf. Yes, I have heard about that part, and it seemed to be that he photographed these women 20 years ago when they were young, and that most of them were not very pleased after they seen the results of these sessions. It's quite confronting, but interesting.
Well, hi, we're with Lou Millenberg, who has a gallery with a lot of what I would describe anyway as some more or less contemporary classics. Rauschenberg, Warhol. Who collects these kind of artists at this point?
In Holland, all the people who can afford an original one. What I'm doing are the editions of a lot of American artists, like what you already said, Rauschenberg, Warhol. I have around the corner Ryman. I have Ellsworth Kelly's, Bryce Marden's. And that's, first of all, it's good art. And also typical American art. And a lot of people, they appreciate that. And what I already said, is to buy an original one, that's not for everybody possible. So that's why I'm doing the editions. And I like the art, so first of all.
Well, some people said when we got to Ryman, we had run out of gas completely. Do you have white Ryman?
I have around the corner, so there's Ryman, yes. Yes, that's the basic of, let's say, the minimalism. And he has the possibilities for more than 30 years to change, just with white. That's amazing. Then you are a great artist if you can change white 30 years long.
You're either a magician or a great artist, I guess.
Beg your pardon?
Either a magician or a great artist.
He's a great artist. And, you know, on a fair like this, there's so much competition. So you have to figure out what can I do. And for me already for years it's that I'm in love with American minimalism and pop. But especially American minimalism. That's people in Europe, also in Holland, artists try to make also minimalism. That's impossible. Only American people can make minimalism. Yeah, it's like if I started to sing country and western, it's the same. There's a Dutch guy who's singing country and western. Only if you are from, let's say, St. Louis or whatever. Tennessee, yeah. Then you can sing country and western. That's what I think.
Well, I think you're right in that sense, and it seems that the pop and the minimalist are indigenous to America. You know, it's very hard to transport that stuff somewhere.
Yeah.
Make it look real.
Yeah. No, but if you travel around, if you know a lot about art and also about the history of art, then you can see that what Jasper Jones did, or Marden, or Carl Andre and Donald Judd, they find really new ways to look. They find the new ways to between architecture and visual art. So that's like they found new. How do you say that in English? A new law. The way to look, the way to behave yourself, the way you watch or listen to music or whatever you're doing. Yeah, that's for me kind of revolution. Yeah.
Well, the American scene, in some ways, if we see the David Sala show at the State Lake now, I talked with David Sala and I was saying that his art seemed to have more in common with cinema than it did with Ryman. It's interesting, I used him as the analogy. And he replied to me that he thought in 100 years, if there was a comparison between his art and Ryman's art, that there would be more in common than there would be with cinema. But here we are now in America in postmodernism, really, isn't it? I mean, borrowing a little bit from everything. What do you think of that, the American postmodernism?
Now, imagine you're living in a 17th century room, in decoration of that period, and you have an empty space on the wall. If I would hang there a David Sally or a Fred Sandbeck or Louise Bourgeois, it doesn't fit in. If I would hang there a Mondrian, it doesn't work. So postmodernism is like, how do you say that? A period based on several other. I don't know the name in English for that. Periods, and it's a mixture. But I think that over 100 years, a Ryman, that's basic. And the David Sally is also a good artist. I have around the corners of David Sally here on my booth. But that's a period. And He doesn't find a new way. He makes things, and that's it. So if I have that 17th century room, I would hang there a Robert Ryman, another David Heine,
Another Jan Slouters.
another Jan Sluiters, no, even not a Mondrian. I would hang there maybe a Karl André piece. It's just a sculpture on the floor. That's what I would do. But it's also difficult to find new ways if you want to make painting or drawings. Every artist wants to how do you say that? To make the wheel again. How do you say that in English?
Reinvent the wheel.
Reinvent the wheel. That's what everybody wants to do, and that's very difficult. So.
What kind of people come to the art fair every year here in Amsterdam?
The art fair is for most people just a day fun shopping. The collectors, they don't come. No, the collectors, they went already last week to my gallery and asked, can I have a preview before you go to the fair? And all the people who are running around here, just a day, what shall we do today? Oh, we go to the art fair on the RAI in Amsterdam, but they're not collectors. No, just fun shopping.
I talked with one fellow who said that the real collectors go to Basel or...
on a special level, of course. If you're on a special level, over 2 weeks is Basel. Then what I have here, you have a Rauschenberg here. If you want to buy an original one, you have to go to Basel. Or you have to go to, 4 weeks ago, to Chicago. The art fair in Chicago. Or you have to go to Cologne in November. But no, there are not that much people in Holland who goes to Basel. I think you can go with one bus with 40 collectors inside, and that's all who is going to Basel, believe me. No. And if they go to Basel, they are on the way to Italy to the holidays. But not especially for the fair. I don't believe that. There are not that much collectors. And if there are collectors in Holland, that's how can I say that a lot of them collecting 19th century romantic school, and they try to find a good Cobra piece or whatever. But in contemporary art today, no, there are no collectors. There's no collector who's buying a Robert Grober or a picture of Cindy Sherman, for example. They're $40,000-$50,000. There's no Dutch collectors who is buying that. That's too expensive.
Niet een goede koop, hè?
Beg je pardon?
Niet een goede koop.
No, that's it. No, that's not it. No. And Holland is Holland. Yeah, and very chauvinistic. Huh?
Dit is een project van een Russische kunstenaar, Rauf Mamedov. Hij is geboren in Azerbeidzjan. Hij woont in Moskou in Rusland. En ik ben Lilia Zakirova, Galerie Lilia Zakirova, die zijn werk mocht in Nederland presenteren. De eerste introductie was vorig jaar in september 98 in Heusden aan de Maas. En deze project heet In beelden gegoten, cast images. U ziet 7 Bijbelse scènes als 12 foto's afgebeeld. De hoofdrollen spelen mensen met syndroom van Down. De kunstenaar heeft geciteerd uit de wereldkunstgeschiedenis. Hij heeft gebruikt composities van Leonardo da Vinci voor het laatste avondmaal. En dan, u ziet Kus van Judas, dat is na Giotto. Ecce Homo, als na compositie van een Russische kunstenaar Nikolai Gay uit 19e eeuw. En aan een andere wand ziet u Annunciatie naar Jan van Eyck. Mamedov zelf heeft 20 jaar geleden gewerkt in een psychiatrische inrichting als vrijwilliger in Azerbeidzjan. En daar heeft hij ontmoet een jongen die ook syndroom van Down had. En deze jongen vroeg hem te helpen te ontsnappen. En daarover heeft hij een novelle geschreven, die daar aan de muur opgeplakt is. Een heel ontroerend verhaal. Dus deze fotoproject, dat is een soort hommage aan deze vriend die hij toen kon niet helpen te ontsnappen. Ja. Mm-hmm. En mensen hier in Nederland, ja, ik heb het zelf 3 maanden lang meegemaakt in mijn galerie. Ik had 200 mensen per dag. Dat is zeer veel voor een klein galerie. En ja, mensen zijn ontroerd. Deze kunstwerk, dat is een synthese van kunstgeschiedenis, fotografie, regie, computerbewerking, theologie, psychiatrie. En in combinatie, dat is een bewijs dat beeldende kunst nog leeft. Ja, in deze vorm ook.
Dank u wel.